Hello everyone, and thank you so much for watching. My name is Nefertiti. I'm a spiritual life coach and mind body instructor, and you can find me on the web at onebodywm.com. So I am giving you an energy report today, which is June 10th, 2019, and just like some of the other weeks, we've been going through a lot energetically, clearing karma, clearing ancestral karma. But I feel like this week in particular, we're really going to have to focus on our own internal fears and blocks, especially if you're a light worker, a way shower. We are really being asked by the universe to step up, to level up. We know exactly what it is that we need to be doing, most of us at this point in time, because we've asked. We've asked, what do I need to know? What is it that I need to do? We've gotten the instructions, but these agreements that we made before we were born, before we incarnated, were not necessarily providing us with a way to accomplish what it is that we need to do. And that's where our angels and guides come in. Okay, we ask them, what do I need to know? What do I need to do? And we ask for specific guidance. And it's okay to do that. You know, we have to get out of this whole notion that we have to be completely cleansed, completely healed, aligned in order for us to receive help. The love and the help that we get from our angels and guides is unconditional. It doesn't matter what kind of bad habits you have. It doesn't matter what you think about yourself. This love is unconditional and always available to us. And I feel like that is what they're really wanting you to know as we continue on this journey, because this has been an intense couple of months, and we have eclipse season coming up. We've got some really interesting aspects with astrology this week too. The sun is going to be in challenging aspect to Neptune and Saturn, or excuse me, is it Neptune? Yeah, Neptune and Saturn. So we've been dealing with Saturn a lot in Capricorn, and with Pluto there too, with this upheaval and this death and rebirth transformation cycle that we're going through on some level. So that's why meditation is very, very helpful. Getting out in nature, making sure that you're grounding yourself, because we're going to be having these energy waves coming in one after the other. Okay, so we've got the astrological aspects that we have to I don't want to say contend with, but we have these energies that are available to us, okay? As above, so below. We've got the solar flares, and we've got this ascension process in general, which, by the way, everybody's going to ascend. I've said this in other videos. We're all going to ascend. We're all going to have to level up. But we live in a free will domain, which means that we can choose when we do this leveling up. You know, our life will obviously get more complicated and challenging because we're not aligned, if we're not doing what it is that we're called to do, if we're not doing what it is that we're led to do at any given moment. And the fear is going to be there. Just remember that the fear is going to be there because we live in a domain that is subject to higher and lower frequencies. And despite what anybody might say to you, despite what any other video might say about, you know, we are responsible for our energy and that we're not, that all of it's coming from within. I'm so sorry for people who still believe that we are not in a spiritual warfare. Okay, that we have to take responsibility for keeping ourselves aligned. Yes, absolutely. But we do have outside influences. Okay, our energy is highly coveted by certain extraterrestrial beings, by these negative entities that are not allowed to embody into physical form. And so it's almost like jealousy, right? They want to attach to us so they can experience what we're experiencing, but they're lower frequencies, so they do influence our behavior, right? And let's just be mindful of that and take the steps to protect ourselves physically, emotionally, spiritually, and whatever you decide to do, that's up to you, right? Crystals, invoking the white light meditation, using the violet flame. Using the violet flame will be highly beneficial, right? It's a very simple and easy method for you to use. If you want more information about that, you can check out Chloe Hudson's channel at World Peace Projects. She uses the violet flame a lot. She talks about it a lot in her podcast. But take responsibility for your energy. I feel like that's going to be a real huge theme this week. And like I said, the fear is going to be there, okay? But we can do it anyway. Think of fear as an indicator, right? An indicator that you're misaligned, an indicator that you are off track. And then do what you need to do to get on track, whatever you need to do. I remember just yesterday, I was feeling a little heavy, feeling a little worn down because as I've mentioned in other videos, I've been doing a lot of clearing work. And a part of my mission is to do this clearing work because I'm empathic. And so I not only do it for myself, but I do it for the collective. And if anybody else does this kind of work, you know that it can wear you out. And so I was feeling kind of down yesterday and, I don't want to go outside and I don't want to do this. And I had to force myself to get up, go outside, ground myself, get the sunshine that I need, okay? Because it's always a choice, right? And we know that action changes emotion. That's how you change a negative emotion into a positive emotion, is to take action. Because if we're trying to go through this mental battle of changing our thoughts, even using affirmations, which is great, but we have to remember that we cannot solve the problem from the level where the problem exists, okay? So we have to use all of our tools, affirmations, taking action, making sure that your energy is clear, hire a coach if you need help with these things, right? But we do have help available to us. All we have to do is ask for it. Ask our spirit team, ask our angels and guides, what do I need to know? What do I need to do? And pay attention to the synchronicities, which are heightened right now, okay? This is a huge month of transformation. And the synchronicities, which include the numbers, the feathers, the birds, the coins, hearing phrases, hearing songs, all of these things are synchronicities, okay? And these are indicators that you are on the right path. No matter what's going on around you in this illusion, in this delusion, in this hologram, in this matrix, if you're seeing these synchronicities, you are on the right track. Now, you may not be able to see too far ahead as to what's going on, and that can bring up fear of the unknown, right? But that cannot be anything that stops you, okay? Because we know that when we step out in faith, when we step onto our path, our soul mission, our life purpose path, there is going to be some unknown, because that's a whole part of this game, right? We come into this world and we have spiritual amnesia. We forget what we're supposed to be doing. We forget what we're supposed to be focusing on. But we get reminders. We get guidance. We have a huge team of help that's waiting for us to just ask for the support. And yes, it's going to require some effort. Yes, it's going to require some work. Now, I've heard some people say, like, we don't have to think about this as being hard. And I agree. I agree. This doesn't have to be hard. Challenging? Yes. Exhausting at times? Yes. So that's why we need to create balance. And I feel like that's what this week is about, is finding balance between our physical world and our spiritual world, because both are equally important in this third dimension. We are ascending. But that is going to take time, because we need time to remove the blocks. We need time to examine ourselves. We need time for the upheaval, because once you change your thought forms, your thought patterns, everything in your life changes. And that can bring up fear, because it happens in a lot of different ways. Sometimes the change is good. Sometimes the change is like, what the actual fuck, right? And we have to be willing to go through these shifts and changes and transition, because we have help. We have help. We do not have to do it alone. We're never alone. And one other thing I'm being led to say is Don't take advice from people more messed up than you. Okay? People are well-intentioned when they're trying to tell you, oh, this is what you should do, and this is how you should do things, and I know you're feeling this way, but maybe you need to give up on what you're doing. Maybe you need to make some adjustments because what you're doing is not working. These people, in my opinion, are not coming from an authentic place, okay? As I've mentioned in other videos, when it comes to being self-actualized, there are 3 things you need to remember. One is that you're independent of the good opinion of other people. The second is you have no investment in power or attachment to other people. And the third is to detach from outcomes. So when you're talking to somebody and you're telling them about your goals, your dreams, your ambitions, which by the way, you should be really careful about. Not everybody needs to know what you're doing, okay? You know what you're doing. Call that energy back to you. When you're trying to convince somebody else of your goals, your dreams, what you feel like the right thing is to do, it takes energy from you. And it kind of violates one of those rules, I guess, the self-actualization rules that were, or rules or precepts, I guess, that were put forth by Abraham Maslow. When somebody is trying to convince you to do something that they think you should be doing because of what they're observing going on in your life, that is not what I consider an authentic person, because they're concerned with their good opinions. They definitely have an investment in power over you because they want you to do what they want you to do. Not really concerned about how you feel about it and why you want to do it, your passions, right? And they definitely have an attachment to how things work or how things are going to work out. And that includes you too. So that would be kind of a good way for you to be objective, right? And to really observe your actions and see if you're coming from a place of self-actualization, because I feel like that is necessary, mandatory for every light worker, every way shower, is to be self-actualized, because you've got to be able to stand in your own power, right? All good lies have some truth sprinkled in them. And I feel like that's what triggers the fear, because part of it is true, right? But at the end of the day, we have a mission, we have a purpose. That should be our focus. And we also have to remember that everything we need will come to us in the perfect time, space, and sequence. If we're paying attention to the synchronicities and really checking in with ourselves as to what these synchronicities mean. Yes, look them up on the internet, look them up and see what they mean, but at the end of the day, it's about what we feel is right and what we feel is valuable and helpful and supportive to us. Okay? So spend some time in meditation this week. Make sure that you're keeping a journal. I've been telling you, all the people that, my clients, videos that I've been making, keep a journal, because this is a very transformative time. And I would like to be able to look back at all of the shifts that I've made, you know, that got me to the place where I'm going to be, where my future self already is, because all we have is now, right? The past is the past. It has no power over us, but our future self exists also, because we wouldn't be able to visualize, materialize. We wouldn't be able to imagine these good things coming into our life, our status raising, if this part of us did not already exist somewhere, even in thought form. Just like the Course in Miracles says, or A Course in Miracles, all thoughts create form on some level. I'll give you another line from A Course in Miracles, which says, the presence of fear is a sure sign that you are trusting in your own strength. Okay? So call on the angels and guides to help you. Get rest when you need it. We have another energy wave, I feel like, coming in around the 14th. And this is really going to be kind of a positive thing. I feel like this is going to give us another energetic boost, which is what we need right now, because a lot of things are coming up in the collective, within ourselves, and it's easy to get lost in that deluge, in the wow, I've really got a lot of work to do. I need to make these changes, right? But you make changes one step at a time, one day at a time. Right? Break it into small parts so that you don't get overwhelmed. Because when you get overwhelmed, then you procrastinate, right? When you get overwhelmed, you get into a lower vibration, and a lot of other things start to come into your life, right? The guilt, the fear, the poverty consciousness. So be mindful of that. If you can catch yourself in that negative fear space, and really step back and say, okay, I'm feeling this. I acknowledge it. I'm feeling this fear. How can I shift out of this? Angels and guides, help me to shift out of this. Taking the path of least resistance, because that's what they like to do, right? Another thing that's going to be helpful this week is mirror work. And Louise Hay talks about this a lot in her writings and her teachings. But when you look yourself in the eye, in the mirror, and tell yourself, I love you, I really love you, you're doing the best you can with the understanding, the awareness, the knowledge, and the resources that you have. Say this to yourself every time you pass a mirror, right? It only takes a few seconds, but notice how you feel when you say it. Notice if you're getting into a space of negativity, right? If that is the case, then use that. Okay, when I say I love you, I approve of you, I'm looking at myself in the mirror saying this, I get these thoughts of, it's not true. You know, look at these pimples. Look at all this debt that you're in. You know, look at your bills not being paid. You know, you're a mess. Like, all these things kind of come up. Use this. This is information. Write it down. Okay? And then ask your angels and guides, how can I dissolve this fear, this limitation, this block? Because it's only holding you back. That's the only thing it's doing. Okay? So take some time this week to be with yourself, to do your mirror work, to journal, to ground, to center yourself, and everything is going to be all right. Okay? We've already gotten the victory. The light has already won. This is just a game, right? So thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful for you. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I look forward to speaking to you again soon. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.